Okay, welcome to Planet Geography. Let's look at constructive and destructive waves. Before we do that, let's look at the key features of waves, and these are regardless of whether they are constructive or destructive. So let's get some terms sorted. We have got the crest of the wave, which is the highest point. Okay, the trough is the lowest point. Okay, the wave length is the distance between the two crests. Okay, that is wavelength. The wave height is the distance between the crest and the trough. Okay, so this is wave height. Now, what else do we need to know? Well, we need to know that there is a kind of a circular motion taking place in our waves. Now, if we've ever been in a wave, you've ever been to the beach and you try to jump under a wave, you felt that circular motion, almost like a washing machine taking place. Okay? Now, what happens due to wave shoaling is that kind of circular orbit changes because of friction. Okay, so it's very similar to when we see tsunamis. Wave shoaling takes place as we approach sea level. Okay? So, the wave slows down, it loses that circular shape and becomes more of an oval. Okay? Now, the oval is much less stable, and so the wave collapses. And so when you see a wave breaking, like here, that is when the oval has become so stretched out that it kind of collapses. Okay? So, key features of a wave: crest, trough, wavelength, wave height, circular motion becoming a oval motion due to friction and wave shoaling. All right, that's all very nice information, good to have, but the real things we must know, because it comes up so much and in so many different parts of the course, is when the wave moves up the beach, we have swash. Okay, and then when we have it moving back down the beach because of gravity, we have back wash. Okay, it's being washed back to the beach. That is the key, because if you want to understand the difference between constructive and destructive waves, it all centers around this. Okay, so we're going to cut now to look at what a constructive wave is versus what a destructive wave is. Okay, let's talk about constructive waves. So, their frequency is low, about 6 per minute. Yep. Their height is low, they're not very tall waves, they're not very big waves. And their length is long. So they are low waves that are spread far apart, okay? And this should be quite obvious because these are constructive waves, they build things. And so you don't have these huge waves pounding into the beach, you just have these gentle waves appearing every so often. Now the swash that is very strong, and the backwash is weak, okay? And what it creates is big, wide beaches, okay? So let's actually talk about that in kind of motion. So we have this very strong swash moving up the beach, okay? And colour it in to make it look even stronger, okay? Now with that, it is transporting huge amounts of sediment, okay? And that sediment is being added. Remember, construction is to build, to add to contribute is to add. It's adding sediment to our beach continuously. Now, it is worth saying that there is, of course, even if it's smaller, there is still backwash, okay? But it's taking away much less sediment that's being brought in, okay? So think of it like the classic maths question. 10 people get off the bus, 10 people get on the bus, 5 people get off it, okay? That's what constructive waves are, and that's what they're doing. They are adding sediment continuously. Okay, so let's talk about destructive waves. They are the mirror opposites of constructive waves. So you should have really already kind of know what they are. So their frequency is high. They're happening often in that kind of 10 to 14 range. Their height is taller, so they're just simply bigger waves, and the length is shorter. So you get more of them per minute. So there's more waves hitting the beach and they're more powerful. The swash in this case is weak, and the backwash is strong. Backwash. It creates really kind of steep beaches. Yeah, probably small and potentially even just cliffs. There's simply no beach at all. Okay, now why is this? So we can see here, if we go back into kind of how does this work in our diagram, these constructive waves we know are much taller and the length is much shorter. So when they hit our beach, their swash is actually quite weak. Okay, so there is swash. It will add some sediment to the beach. However, the backwash is simply much, much stronger, and it's removing the sediment at a faster rate, okay? And that is the key difference in constructive and destructive waves, knowing the difference between swash and backwash. And so our sediment is being removed from a beach. And as a result, it's much, much steeper and much, much smaller. And that is the key difference between constructive waves, the swash and the backwash. You need to know what they are, so rewind it if you need to. And then we'll try and jump straight into an exam question if we can find one. That came up in the Geography A Paper 1 from Edexcel. So here it is. This is a previous question that students literally had to sit and answer in their exam. So thing we do, we break down the question, box the command word, underline the keywords and glance at the marks. Explain, one way, constructive waves, affect beaches. Okay, we then glance at the marks and we see it's a 2 markers, so it'll be 1 blank is because. So a mark for the point, a mark for the development. Here's the mark scheme. I'd encourage you to pause it and have a read. Nothing scary in there. We're going to answer this question here, we're going to answer this response here. So 1, constructive waves deposit material on the beach because they have a strong swash. So here's our structure. 1 blank is because. Try to, where possible, use words from the question. 1 way is. Okay, and then that will be our point, and then we'll get our second mark for the development. So here's one that I think would get 100%. 1 way is adding sediment to the coastline. We saw in the mark scheme it said material. We've improved that and we've said sediment. All right, because they have a swash that is stronger than their backwash. Okay, so again, I've dropped in a couple of keywords, swash and backwash, and even stronger as a tier 2 word. And that gets the full marks, okay? The examiner will be marking these ones so quickly, these little 2 markers, they fly through them, and they're just looking for like sediment, coastline, swash, 2 marks. Okay, so your keywords are so important because that is what the examiner is looking for. Another little tip that I would say is be careful of the words they and their. They're fine to use, but only if you've stated what you were talking about previously, okay? So we know that we're talking about constructive waves here, okay? So they and their becomes okay. Really make sure if you do use these words, have you previously stated what it is you're talking about? All right, guys, I hope that helps. That will get 100%. I think it's very achievable for every candidate, okay? So like and subscribe for future videos. I'm putting out at least 1 or 2 a day at the moment, and I'll see you in a future video.